Alright, so I have UDK open, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a little scene. So let's go ahead and just scale this down, scale it over. Let's go ahead and add, and let's add a point light. Used to hotkeys. Alright. Looks pretty good. Something like that. Alright, now let's go ahead and open up our content browser. If you don't have it open already, you can just click this button to open the content browser. Now, YouTube tutorials. Let's go ahead and, yes, one of my previous tutorials. So this should work fine. On import, and now there we go. So what we got here is Blender exports. Let's go ahead and bring in the brick that we exported earlier. Open. Make sure it's a static mesh. Let's go ahead and create a new group, call it models. And from hopefully I had selected only selected, but we'll find out. If we get two meshes, then I need to go out and re-export it. So I think this all looks good. Let's go ahead and press OK. You'll probably get this. It seems like the Blender and even 3ds Max is never quite up to date with UDK. So there's our model. So it did export correctly. Looks pretty decent. You can see there's the seams where the material doesn't match up. So let's go and exit out of that. Actually, first, let's spin it around, and what you can do is take a new thumbnail angle. You exit, it'll just save that thumbnail angle. So at this point, we are going to import a new texture. Actually, we are going to import the brick normals, and what we gotta do is we have to change the compression settings to normal map and the texture group to world normal map. If you don't do that, it's not gonna make mib maps, and you need mib maps for changing the, or it basically down-reses the normal maps when you are not close to them. So you absolutely need that. It's a big texture. Let's go and import textures, Photoshop saves. You can actually just import the PSDs. I don't really know the quality difference, but I'm also not positive about the file size. I suppose I could check. It's a good time to actually find out if there's a large difference in file size. So since this is our diffuse, we don't need to do anything to change that. Let's go ahead and press OK. Not OK to all. If you do that, it will import all of them as a diffuse texture. And once, okay. Now we gotta change this to normal. Change this to normal. Press OK. And our final one, once it gets done importing, is our specular. So we need to change this to grayscale to save memory size, and we are going to change this to world specular. Alright, now we have all our textures in here. Let's go ahead and head over to materials, create a new material. Let's call it brick. Alright, now what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of set that there. Let's go ahead and textures, click on that, and hold T and click in the scene. Also hold Control and left click to drag. We're just going to do that for all of these. Get them in here. Alright, first before we do anything else I have to check. So the, let's check normal maps, that'll be more accurate. So the brick normal that we imported as a TGA is 2.67 megabytes. And this is 2.67. So what I would do is I would suggest whenever you want, don't worry about exporting as a different file type. Just use PSDs because they are the same file size. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we are going to arrange this. First, let's just let's get our model in here. So click on your model, your static mesh, click this green arrow. So now our model will be used instead of a cylinder or a cube or a sphere. Let's go ahead and just plug in the diffuse, and we should see it pop up. Yep, there it is. There's our little static mesh. It doesn't look half bad. Definitely should have mesh painted for sure. You see here, I didn't notice that part, and you can see the seam when you get close all around. Doesn't look particularly great. So now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of group up these normals. Let's move them away because that'll take a little bit more work. Then we have our specular. Actually, let's move stuff around a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to plug this into the specular. Now you'll notice we have specularity. Now we're going to add a just hold one, click. This is a constant. Plug that into the specular power. Notice we get a really weird effect. It's because it's at 0. We need to change that. So let's go and bump it up to 15 and see what happens. For rock, we're going to have pretty high, a high number. Let's try 50. That looks alright. Maybe not that high, maybe 30. I think that looks pretty good. So at this point we have several options to work with this. So we can add math, add. Let's try this. I haven't actually tried a lot of options. So usually what I do is I use a linear interpolate node. That looks pretty darn good. And also, if your lighting is not where you want it, you can hold L and then drag in this window to change the lighting. Let's try, just for the heck of it, let's try a lerp node. And that's hold L, click, that's linear interpolate. And plug that into normal. Then we need an alpha, which I actually do not have. Actually, a lerp node is not what we want anyways. We could try a multiply just to see what that does. So I'm going to try this. Oh, my aim is terrible right now. Doesn't really like it. Looks like it did much. Let's go and check this little box, see what it did. It doesn't really look like it did anything. Alright, let's just see what this is looking like. It does look like it fixed the lighting quite a bit. Alright, so this is a very, very, very simple setup. Doesn't look half bad. Let's go ahead and bring this model up, and let's go to materials, click on our brick. Let's go down and check this little green arrow to add the material. And I think I would rather have maybe something like that as a thumbnail. So now we have that. Let's go ahead and add it to the scene. That scale is way off. I'm still trying to figure out Blender scale, but I guess it gets the job done. Let's actually just scale it down. If you want to move faster or slower, you have your box here. There we go. Now the normal map looks a lot better. It might have been a tad bit too strong on the brick texture. Kind of see a little bit of artifacting in the deeper areas, but I think overall it looks really good. Let's go ahead and actually, rather than a point light, let's add a dominant directional light. Add a dominant directional light. That didn't seem right. Add actor, dominant, add light, dominant directional. Yes, okay. Never seen that pop up before. Move it up. Let's go ahead and give it some angle. Let's go ahead and call it that way. Bring it. Oh yeah, bring it that way. And this would finish. Alright, so I'm going to save, then I'm going to build the paths, and I'm going to build the lighting. Don't use light mask because that'll take quite a long time. Unless you want to use light mask, I mean, you can, but whoopsie. I think I might have subtracted this. Yep, I did. Let's rebuild that lighting real quick. Boom. And Control S, Control Z. Okay, let's just save. Actually, maps, brick. There we go. And as you can see from here, this texture is very high quality. It's a 2048 by 2048 texture. As we pull away, it just looks really superb. Again, the placement could have been better, but it's not the end of the world. And I'm probably going to do another tutorial on how to texture paint in Blender. So I think I'm going to call it on this tutorial and say that this is the end. It's for the Blender to UDK Fundamentals series. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed.